So today I want to talk about utilizing membership interests in LLCs to effectively convey title to real estate. So, um, in the creative financing arena, what I see is kind of an unused strategy is the use of LLC membership interests to actually convey title versus actually conveying the title to real estate. So let's say that I, through my limited liability company, I purchase a property from a seller and I own it, but I want to sell it to you, Andy. You want the property. But instead of going through another escrow, what we do is say, okay, well, you want the property. You want to be able to control the property. You want to have all the rights associated with that. Well, instead of my LLC executing a deed to you and conveying the actual title, what we could do is I could say, okay, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you substitute for me as the owner of the limited liability company? And so I would then convey to you not a real estate interest, but a personal property interest, right? I would convey to you a membership in the LLC and say, okay, now you're the 100% owner of the LLC. Well, effectively, now you own the property because the LLC owns the property and you fully have 100% control over the LLC. At that point, you can do with it as you may. And so let's say even further that you come to me and say, well, I want to buy this property. It's worth 200,000, but I only have 20,000 to put down and I want to finance 180,000. Well, we could do that as well, right? We could take the 20 and we can do a membership interest purchase agreement along with a promissory note, a security agreement, secure that with a UCC financing statement. We could even secure it by the property via deed of trust,
Sure.
if we wanted to. But we could secure it, but instead of it actually being, your traditional carryback that is maybe governed by certain regulations. The sale of a membership interest, may have other regulations that, anybody should look into and figure out, the different things like we talked with Paul Vincent about securities and things like that. But, there are certain lending regulations that likely don't apply to the sale of a membership interest, but they do maybe to like carryback financing on the sale of real estate, if you will.
Right.
So that is another tool in an investor's toolbox that they can utilize to structure a transaction, is basically figuring out a way to, utilize the ownership and membership of an LLC to effectively convey title to real estate versus actually conveying the title to the real estate